Okay, I'm fucking livid, and I might swear a lot in this video, right? The civility of men knows no bounds and no limits. I've been speaking to men today who think a male-only curfew is okay, and they think female-only parking space is okay, and they use threat narratives as a pretext for them, right? Oh no, but women are scared, and I've been told that I'm a perma-virgin, and I'm only angry at feminists, and I can't understand the female point of view because I haven't slept with women yet. Soon as I sleep with women, which might be any time from tomorrow to never, right? I'll accept feminism and come to terms with feminism, and I'll be empathetic with the female point of view. Females who want male-only curfews, they want female-only parking spaces, right? Female-only gyms, right? Whatever females want. As soon as I sleep with a woman, I'll be all for female supremacy. That's all I need to do to come to terms with female supremacy is sleep with a woman, right? Okay. So we got that cleared up. I'm a perma-virgin incel, and the only reason I'm angry at this is because of that. So let's read what this is, and this is disgusting, right? This is in my country, and this puts all men at risk. This puts all men at risk, okay? And this is fucking vile. This is evil. This is pure fucking evil. And I'm going to say this to every single male police officer for not protesting this, right? You are fucking traitors to your own country, right? And I've avoided calling police officers pigs because I think pig is a degrading, dehumanizing term. But in this instance, I think police deserve to be called pigs. It's pretty apt, right? But then again, it's an insult to pigs. I don't think pigs sell out their own kind, right? Pigs don't become police officers and enforce unfair domestic violence laws against their own sex, do they? So, yeah. I think the most degrading term you can come up with is a human being, right? Okay. Domestic abuse is to be added to violent and sex offender registry in new crackdown. Okay. So I'm going to explain as I go along why this is absolutely fucking disgusting. This is manipulative and it's evil. This is pure evil in every sense of the word. Okay. And this has nothing to do with protecting the public. Announcing reforms, Home Secretary Sulla Braverman says domestic violence is completely unacceptable and causes torment, pain, fear, and anxiety. Wow. Crime causes that, eh? Well, I wonder how much torment, fear, anxiety men have when they get domestically abused, and when male domestic abuse victims are statistically more likely to be arrested than the female abusers, right? Or I wonder how much anxiety, torment, fear men go through when women attack them, commit GBH on them, and the women do not face any jail time whatsoever. Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to say something right here and now. Okay, we have a right-wing Tory government in power right now. So any right-wing mental defect who spews out leftist or communist like they've got Tourette syndrome every single other fucking sentence, right? Just shut the fuck up. Right, just shut the fuck up. This is a right-wing Tory government passing this law. Conservatives, conserving the rule of law, conserving due process, eh? No, they don't do that, do they? Fuck them. Fuck, this is radical feminist, radical changes to the law. This is a radical erosion of due process, like they've done countless times in the past. Okay. Female hands, right there. Pretty female hands, yeah? This is not gender neutral, right? And the article is making sure we all know this. The most dangerous domestic abusers will be recorded in a violent and sex offender register under new proposal aimed at better protecting the public. This is not about protecting the public, okay? So let's say there's someone who's a legitimate psychopath sex offender who's committed a crime, right? And they've served their time in prison, and they come out of prison, right? Are they more likely to reoffend if A, they can get a job, or B, they can't get a job? It's obviously A, because the sex offender registrar is about ostracizing men for life and making them unemployable. It doesn't ostracize women. Women are not ostracized for being unemployed. They're still acceptable members of society. Women, there's that Canadian serial killer who raped and tortured women to death, and he had a girlfriend who teamed up with him and got her own sister murdered. She served some time in jail. She got out. She got married. She had kids. Women are ostracized for being criminals, and they're not ostracized for being unemployed. So if they're unemployable sex offenders, right, they're not ostracized. And even female sex people do criminal background checks less on females. They can just get hired right away, right? Okay, men are put under scrutiny far more. So the sex offender registrar is for making men unemployable. It's nothing to do with protecting the public. So, like I said, some psychopath who's got nothing to live for, can't fix his life up, he's got nothing to live for, no status to gain, nothing to aim for in life, he's just stuck unemployed. Is he more likely to commit a crime out of resentment and lashing out or not? He's more likely to commit the crime because of that. It's obvious. Around 2.4 million people in England and Wales experienced domestic abuse in the last year. If that's true, it's 70% of it is men. With around 1 in 5 homicides related to it, according to the Home Office. Right? Okay, whatever. So, yeah, and homicide is one of the rarest crimes. Okay? Starting immediately, anyone jailed for 12 months or more for coercive control, including suspended sentences, will place on the violent and sex offenders register. So, the most violent criminals, but suspended sentences. Most violent, dangerous, serious violent criminals, but suspended sentences. Okay? You get suspended sentences for the most petty shit in the UK. So this is not about violent, dangerous criminals. And coercive control is not a legitimate thing. Or it's a thing, but it's something that females do to men, right? They won't police women for this. They'll only police men on the accusation of this, right? So coercive, by the way, denying women money as a man, your own money, is deemed coercive control, right? But also sponging money off a woman, parasiting off her, is deemed coercive control, right? This is designed to get men, okay? So, and I'm going to say something here before I forget to say this. This is what gets me angry as well. A sex offender registrar, and we all know now that they're lying about the reason for it to exist, but the pretext is it's meant to protect the public and vulnerable people and children. If the sex offender registrar was about protecting children, they would not put petty domestic violence disputes people on it, right? Because a lot of domestic violence is just pushing and shouting at each other. And men get picked up and arrested for this, and women don't. But a lot is even the men who are domestic violence perpetrators. A lot of it is very petty. They just push the woman or they shout at her, right? Okay. I've heard of men getting arrested for shouting and throwing a cop on the floor in frustration in an argument and storming off, right? So potentially these men will be put in a sex offenders register and you'll be unemployable for life. Status is far more important to men. Jobs are far more important to men. A lot of men who are unemployed get driven to suicide, okay? And that's a statistical fact, right? So they care so little for children. They allow women to abuse children, but they put petty domestic violence criminals on the sex offenders registrar. So it's not about protecting children, is it? It's an insult to legitimate child victims of sex offenders, right? So society doesn't care about children, doesn't want to protect them, so they're going to expand a service to petty criminals. So it's going to overload the system, right? And it's going to protect children less. So it's not about protecting children. It's about making men unemployable. Period. It's about ostracizing them. It's about driving them to suicide. It's about hounding them and harassing them. Period. It means you'll have to tell the police the name, any aliases, and any address they stay at for more than a week. Wow. 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 So this is restricting the freedom of movement, in other words. Wow. Wow. This is fucking draconian. This is evil. This is authoritarian. This is not conservative. The right-wing conservatives. We conserve things. We conserve the rule of law. We conserve due process. We're conservatives. That is a fucking lie. They'll have to also inform police about any travel overseas. Bank details on whether they stay in a household with a child for more than 12 hours. Wow. So the society, we allow mothers to kill, beat, and neglect children near impunity, right? Social services will let abusive, violent women keep custody of the children, but a man who gets into a domestic dispute, potentially, and falsely accused men as well. There's not just going to be men who commit domestic violence, but falsely accused men who are convicted, right? They're going to have to tell people they stay with children for more than 12 hours. This is linking petty domestic violence criminals to paedophiles. It's painting them the same brush. So again, this is not about protecting children. This is about stigmatizing, going, you disgusting subhuman, you're too dangerous to be around children. But meanwhile, women who kill and murder children get to be around them. Okay. Right. Okay. Police will be told they must treat violence against women and girls as seriously as terrorism and similar crimes. Wow. And look, violence against women. So women and girls suffer less violence. Right? They don't even put children anymore. It's girls. It's not even boys. They don't give a fuck about boys. Right? So women suffer less violence than men. They're actually the vast majority of domestic violence perpetrators, but they get protected more. Right? I'm going to use this analogy again. Police will be told they must treat violence against white people as seriously as terrorism and serial crimes. It's the equivalent of that. It's female supremacy. It's the same as white supremacy. right? So it shows you don't give a fuck about terrorism either. Really, they're not scared of terrorism. Okay, okay. This is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking evil. Right? Women are not extra fucking humans, not goddesses. They're the same as men. They're made out of flesh as men, right? They're as fallible as men, right? Not fucking a higher caste. This is a fucking disgrace. Home Secretary Cilla Braverman said domestic abuse is a despicable crime that leads to people's closest relationships becoming a frightening existence to torment, pain, and fear, anxiety. Yes, when females commit domestic violence and abuse, and they falsely phone the police on men as well, commit proxy violence to get them arrested, that's what men go through, right? That's what men go through 70% of the time, because most domestic violence is committed by women. So, can you imagine there was a crime where black people suffer 70% of it, and the government went, "Oh yeah, we've got to make sure this doesn't happen to white people anymore." People see the racism right away. It's completely unacceptable, and as Home Secretary, I'll do everything in my power to stop it. Yeah, including, but you're not trying to stop it, are you? When you think about it, because most domestic violence is committed by women, so you're not about stopping domestic violence. You're just going after men. Under the plans, the worst abusers will be electronically tagged and made to attend behaviour change programs. Okay. So this is just humiliation, degradation. This is fucking evil. And also, if the tag fails, right, or the man gets drunk and forgets to tag in, he'll be taken back to prison again. This is pure evil. This is evil. This is evil. If this happened to me, if I was put under the program, I'm not going to say what I'll do. I wouldn't comply with it meekly, right? There's only so far human beings can be pushed. The Home Office will develop a new digital tool to help police identify lucky perpetrators, even those without convictions. Even those without convictions. Right, this is pre-crime now. This is pre-crime. Let me reread this correctly. The Home Office system will develop new digital tools to help police identify likely men. Right, that's fixed. Even those without conviction, because that's what it really is. No one's gonna give a fucking. I promise you, a woman who commits domestic violence is not gonna be put on this. A man who mouths off at a woman on the street who's not even a spouse will be convicted and put on domestic violence things. Right? There's been cases like that person, that Rick and Morty actor. Right? He got done under domestic violence in the USA, even though the person who accused him wasn't a spouse or he wasn't in a relationship with her, right? Okay, any way they can get a man, they'll get a man. The government plans to spend 8.4 million over 2 years to fund victim support programs. They ask Annie's scheme will be piloted in job centres across the UK, having been launched in pharmacies 2 years ago, right? So this is validating violent, abusive women, right, under the guise of offering them services and help, right? And also, when you offer violent, abusive women help, if they get to pretend to be a domestic abuse victim, it incentivizes them to accuse men even more, right? There are women who are abuse victims, but they're rare. They're rare because the vast majority of the victims are male, period. Okay? And females who are legitimate victims, they tend to flee sooner or later. They don't hang around a relationship. They get out. And they don't need these government services. And there's already the laws in place against stalking and harassment to protect these women. So this is not about helping female victims. Okay? The scheme means women, I'm going to fix, not people, don't use a gender-neutral term, at risk of abuse can discreetly make it known that they need help. It's been used to access emergency support once a week on average since it's started. So it's barely been used, actually, okay? Prime Minister Rakesh Sunak said, "No woman or girl should ever have to feel unsafe in a home or community, and I'm determined to stamp out these appalling crimes." Women claim to feel unsafe all the fucking time, even when they're not. So the Prime Minister's a massive mangina, and he's saying it's women and girls. Again, men are the vast majority of domestic abuse victims. Women are more aggressive in relationships than men. Labour Shadow Home Secretary Yellet Cooper said Labour first pushed for domestic abuse registers years ago, so we welcome the eventual commitment to introduce one, but the government isn't moving quickly enough. So the Labour Party support this. The left support it, the right support it. Fuck you. So the Labour Party, the working class party, but let's make sure men are unemployable for life. Okay, so you're not a working class party, are you? You're a female supremacist feminist party. Ministers promised to make violence against women and girls part of the strategic policing requirement a year ago, after months of pressure from Labour, so it should have never been delayed this long. Violence against the extra humans who suffer less violence. Why don't we promise to make violence against white people a priority, eh? Yeah? Because that would be called racism. Yeah? That's the policing of apartheid South Africa. We live under a gender apartheid now. One system for women, one system for men. I am a fucking nigger in my own country as a male. If you're black, white, Chinese, Muslim, if you're male, you are a fucking nigger, subhuman. And many men are okay with this. Like many male feminist losers, black, white, yellow, brown, orange, green, male aliens from Mars, they're all okay with this fucking degradation of men. This is degradation. This is dehumanization of men. They still haven't agreed to Labour's plan to put domestic abuse specialists into 909 control rooms, nor have they taken action to reverse the shocking collapse in rape charges and record levels of victims dropping out of the criminal justice system. There's a shocking collapse in rape charges because rape's the most falsely reported fucking crime, you dishonest little shits, and you know it. You fucking know it. There was a case when the feminist director of prosecutions had to throw out cases because they were suppressing evidence. They were suppressing phone fucking evidence that proved the man innocent so they could try and get more convictions. Rape is the crime. This article's over. Rape is a crime with most false accusations. It's because women falsely accuse all the fucking time to get at men, right? So domestic violence accusations and rape accusations are weaponized against men. We've got domestic violence protection orders where men without due process can be kicked out of their own homes for 30 fucking days. For 30 fucking days, right? Now, this article is feminist fucking trash, trying to placate itself as neutral. There's no one speaking out against this. There's no men's rights side from this. This is totally from the feminist point of view. This is a fucking disgrace. I'm going to write to my local member of parliament. This is a fucking... If I lived in London, I'd be protesting out the Houses of Parliament right now. Right now. This is a fucking disgrace. This is a fucking disgrace. And this is the last straw as far as I'm... Well, there's been many last straws, but come on, if you're watching this, join my group and do proper activism with me. We need hundreds of people. We've got a dozen people in my group. We need hundreds of people in my group. We need thousands. We need to speak out against this fucking shit. This is a fucking disgrace. This is a fucking disgrace. Fuck you. Anyone who endorses this, fuck you, and fuck the politicians who endorse this. This is a betrayal of every single man in this country. A betrayal. A betrayal. And this is a betrayal of children and boys. And this is female supremacy in action. This is evil. Fuck you. I'm sorry about this rant, but this makes me want to puke. And fuck you, Sky News. Fuck you.